everyone. Hello and welcome in. It is Saturday. It is the day before the Minnesota Vikings Week 10 matchup with the Los Angeles Chargers, scheduled to take place at 4:25 on Sunday in LA. It's a shame we have to wait an extra 3.5 hours for our game to start, but it is what it is when you play on the West Coast. Today, I want to give you 5 statements regarding the Minnesota Vikings, the game tomorrow, and where we might go from here once it has concluded, because I feel like I've tried to do game previews in the past on Saturdays, and I'm not motivated to make videos like that. It's kind of because the content that is in a game preview video is information that you can get anywhere else, right? It's just me regurgitating stats, rankings, statistical analysis, player matchups, things like that. So I think that because you can get your fill of that during the pre-game shows on ESPN and Fox or whatnot before kickoff on Sunday, I don't really need to do those kinds of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you something that you can't get anywhere else, and that's my obnoxious opinions and takes. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you 5 statements about the Minnesota Vikings that I have prompted here for you. Before we get into that, you probably have noticed that I am decked out in Golden Gophers gear because today is the rivalry game against Iowa in Iowa, and I'm really hoping the Golden Gophers come away with the Floyd Trophy. I was more so pissed off last year during that whole end of game timeout fiasco by Kirk Ferentz and the Iowa team, just kind of rubbing it in our noses. And I would love nothing more than a win over Iowa today. That would make me feel so much better after I've already had a rough start to my weekend, given the fact that I have lost Robert Woods in fantasy for the rest of the year. If you haven't seen that report yet, and you're a Robert Woods owner yourself, watch out, because he's done. A surprise ACL tear to begin Saturday afternoon after a season where I drafted Calvin Ridley and Robert Woods as my top 2 wide receivers. I also have Christian McCaffrey, so I've been suffering through that as well. So fantasy gods hate me. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Chargers, and 5 statements that I have prepared for you today. So let's go over those one by one. Statement number 1. The Minnesota Vikings offense must attack down the field for the entire game against the Chargers. I repeat, Minnesota Vikings offense must attack downfield the entire game against the Chargers. What I'm basically saying here is we need to make sure that our first 2 or 3 scripted drives are the same energy and determination and aggression that will match the rest of the game plan for, quarters 2, 3, and 4. We can't have this offense that starts out hot, cools off for about 40 minutes of game time, and then by the way, it's the 4th quarter, it's getting late, we need to put some points on the board or we're going to lose this in regulation. So let's get the offense back firing on all cylinders. So attack the field, attack downfield against this Chargers defense for the entirety of the game. I'm begging you, please. That is what they need to do. That is how they are going to have success, because this Chargers offense is pretty damn good, and you don't want to be playing catch up. I don't think that that's going to work. The formula that worked against the Lions, the Panthers, and the Ravens, where their offenses were also a little anemic to begin the game, isn't going to go over so well against the Chargers team that scores a lot of points. So, statement number 2. Clint Kubiak must utilize play action. I'll repeat, Clint Kubiak must utilize play action. It is absurd that we have walked away from the things that Kirk Cousins does the best. And as a, long-standing critic of Kirk Cousins and all things Kirk Cousins, I believe that Clint Kubiak is unintentionally sabotaging him during this portion of the campaign because he has moved so far away from play action. I don't have the actual numbers in front of me right now, but I do believe that it has gone down significantly in terms of percentage of plays called. And that's just what he's really good at, and I don't know why they don't do it more. You have Dalvin Cook, Alexander Mattison. People are going to be afraid of Kenny Nwangu going forward. You have a stable of running backs where defenses are going to respect the run. So it only makes sense to call more play-action passes. They have to do it. If Clint Kubiak does not get his head out of his ass this Sunday and call more play-action passes, I am going to flip out more than I already have. Statement number 3. Mason Cole should start over Garrett Bradbury rest of season if this game goes as smoothly as last week's. I'm going to repeat that. Mason Cole should start over Garrett Bradbury rest of season, because the production drop-off that we saw last week against the Ravens was insignificant. It was almost as if we had the same person back there. And Mason Cole, I believe, is younger. He had a higher PFF grade than I believe Garrett Bradbury has ever had this season. And Garrett Bradbury has proven that he's a bust, because when you bring in I think Mason Cole was a 6th-round pick with the Arizona Cardinals, or no, I don't think that's right. I think he was a day 2 pick. Excuse me. He was traded for a 6th-round pick by the Minnesota Vikings, essentially a Brett Jones replacement in the aggregate, if you will. And then Mason Cole steps up in a game that he has to start because Bradbury is out on the COVID-19 reserve list, and he doesn't play terribly. He's not the best center in the world, but he doesn't play terribly. And I think that shows that maybe we should try something else. And if it's not going to be Wyatt Davis, it at least needs to be Mason Cole. Statement number 4. Cameron Bynum has the potential to make the Harrison Smith extension look foolish. I'll repeat that. Cameron Bynum has the potential to make the Harrison Smith extension look foolish. And I'm not crowning Cameron Bynum right off the bat just because he had one good game against the Ravens. I'm saying that I'm impressed because he gets a spot start last minute, right? Because Harrison Smith tested positive the day of the game. So he's being told, hey, not only are you going to start, but you're going to be playing for Harrison Smith while all this time you've been the understudy for Xavier Woods. And I don't know why that is. I guess that's just how they decided to approach his transition from corner to safety. So he comes into the NFL. I believe he was a day 2 pick for the Minnesota Vikings in this previous draft. He's going to change position, go from corner to safety. He's going to get a last-minute spot start, like, hey, you haven't prepared for this, but get in there, you got to take over. And he's also going to play the position that he hasn't been studying for during the transition from corner to safety. And he comes away with a very good game. He was graded in the, I believe, 90 percentile by PFF afterwards, had the athletic diving interception against Lamar Jackson. If he can put together another game like that, maybe Rick Spielman is suddenly feeling not so good about that loyalty contract extension that he gave Harrison Smith, who is currently unavailable due to his free-thinking personal decisions. Statement number 5. Mike Zimmer will not get fired this week, regardless of the outcome of this game. I'll repeat that. Mike Zimmer will not get fired this week, regardless of the outcome of this game. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Unless this is an absolute blowout embarrassment, it's hard to watch by the time it gets to the third quarter. Mike Zimmer's job is secure, at least for now. I don't believe that he's going to get fired mid-season. I don't believe the Wilf family wants that kind of attention in the middle of the year. They don't want to be the first ones to do it. Once somebody else does it, maybe they'll feel more confident in their decision. But I think that they're going to wait till the end of the year because other than Andre Patterson stepping in as an interim coach, I don't really see any point to doing it because it's just going to make them worse than they already are. So my final statement is that Mike Zimmer will not get fired this week, and I guess everybody's going to hope that I'm wrong about that one. So those are my 5 statements surrounding the Minnesota Vikings for week 10 of NFL action. Let me know what you think in the comments below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Go Gophers. Beat Iowa.